The next concept we have your inter-VLAN routing. What is inter-VLAN routing? Communication between different VLANs. Okay. So consider a scenario here. This is a switch. Okay. Now let's say I'll connect two systems. Done. On this PC, I will set the IP address 10.1.1.1. Here I'll set, let's say, 11.1.1.1. Okay. So this side will have one VLAN. And on the other side, we'll have different VLAN. PC is not shown. Packet tracer, so many bugs. Okay. Switch to PCs. Share. This is one VLAN. And this is another VLAN. Okay. So this side we are using the IP 11.1.1.1. This side we are using 10.1.1.1. Okay. And let's say this is your VLAN 11. This is your VLAN 10. These are the two VLANs. By default, obviously, they will not communicate. Ten dot one dot one dot one. 11.1.1. So by default, they are not going to communicate. If I try to communicate from PC1 to PC2, 11.1.1.1. So I will not communicate because I do not have a default gateway. And default gateway is what? Your router IP, right? So do I have a router here? Means for communication between two different networks or two different VLANs, I will need a layer 3 device. Okay. So there are certain possibilities how you can allow the communication. So what I can do, I can use a router. Okay. And from this router, I can connect two interfaces. One for the VLAN 10, one for the VLAN 11. And I will assign two IPs of one from the 10 network, one from the 11 network. And they will normally communicate. That is the normal scenario. But your router has limited number of interfaces, like 2 interface, 3 interface, 4 interface, like that only. What if there are more number of VLANs? In that case, you cannot use individual interface. So we go with a method that is known as router on a stick. Only one interface we will use. Okay, we will use only one interface. Now, can we assign two IPs on one interface? Yes or no? No. Yes, you were saying something. No, tell me.
How can I assign to different IP?
How? Okay, let me show you. Enable configuration terminal interface Z0 by 0 IP address 10.1.1.10 255.0.0.0. Correct? No shutdown. Do show IP interface free. Assigned. Now let me do one thing. Let me assign one more IP 11.1.1.10 255.0.0.0. Do show IP interface free. Overwrite. Correct. If you want to assign two IPs, you can do in a way. Okay, there is a concept, something called as secondary IP. 10. Then if you want to assign the 11 also, here you can say secondary, but that concept is not supported in your packet tracing. Okay. Now see. So on one interface, obviously we will not be assigning an IP address, because consider on one interface you will assign only one IP. Do show IP interface B. So what to do now? Okay, let me also shut down this port so that it will be the default case. Okay, do show IP interface B. This is the default scenario where all ports will be down and no IP address will be configured. Now we need to configure two IP addresses, one for the VLAN 10, one for the VLAN 11. Correct. So what we are going to do here, we are going to divide this one single interface into two interfaces. And those two interfaces will be known as sub interfaces. When you break down a network, it becomes sub-network. Similarly, if you break an interface, it will become sub-interface. So this particular interface, we will break into two interfaces as of now, but you can break in multiple interfaces. You will see there is a large number of creating sub-interfaces. Okay. So if you want to create sub-interfaces, first of all, what you have to do, interface Z0 by 0, go to the interface and bring the interface up. This is done. Once the interface is up, give the command interface Z0 by 0 dot. Okay. And click from here so that I can show you the number. Now see, I'll say interface, spelling mistake, Z0 by 0 dot. Now you see how many sub interfaces you can create. Big number. Let's say I will use the number 10 and 11 so that according to VLAN we can understand. So first I'm creating dot 10. Done. Now this will be used in the case of inter-VLAN routing. So there will be VLAN information. So which encapsulation method we are using here? Which trunking protocol we use here basically? No, I mean in the trunking we have encapsulation, right? ISL or and .1Q. Which protocol we use here? .1Q. So we'll say here encapsulation .1Q. Okay, I have created .10. So for which VLAN I will be using? So give here VLAN number also. Done. Now you can assign the IP address. IP address 10.1.1.10 255.255 or not 255. Default subnet mask. And it is already up. You can see when I created the interface already up. So no need to shut down. This is clear. Another interface I will create, interface Z0 by 0 dot 11 for the VLAN 11. Then you will say encapsulation .1Q and which VLAN 11. Then after IP address 11.1.1.10 255.0.0.0 and no shutdown. Done. Now in the PCs, assign the gateway. Again, the PCs, assign the gateway. What will be the gateway here? 10.1.1.10. And here the gateway will be 11.1.1.10. Gateway is assigned. Now, did we create VLANs on the switch? No, we did not create. So enable configuration terminal interface F0 by 1. I'll directly give switch port access VLAN 10. So automatically VLAN also created and then also assigned. Interface F0 by 2, VLAN number 11. Now, what about this interface? Through this interface, both VLAN data will be coming VLAN 10 also, 11 also. Run. So this interface I will create as a run. So interface F0 by 3, switch port mode 1. And now your inter-VLAN routing is configured. Now you will be able to communicate. See? Command prompt. So all the ARC process and everything will happen, and then you will be able to communicate. This is clear. So what we did here, see. There are 3 methods. First method is router with separate interface, which is the easiest method. All you have to do, create 2 interfaces on the router and then put them in a different VLAN. Okay.
Basic doubt, sir, like with respect to inter-VLAN. So we go to this inter-VLAN routing because like this setup, for this setup, like there we should use 2 default gateway. So that is the reason, like we go for that logical separation.
Correct. Because we want to use only one interface. Through one interface, we can have communication between multiple VLANs.
To this setup.
Yeah, ultimately, see, 2 VLANs, 2 networks, we want communication, 2 different networks, L3 device will be required. So with the L3 device, now you can go with the router with separate interface or router on a stick, means one interface. Okay. So if you are going with the router with separate interfaces, in that scenario, what will be the concept? See here. This is switch. You have 2 PCs. So you will be using 2 interfaces of the router. So here no need to create any sort of sub interface and anything. Because already 2 different interfaces are there.
So 2 default gateway.
2 default gateway automatically you can give here.
Inside alone, we need to enable trunk.
No need to enable trunk also.
2 different VLANs.
Yeah, 2 different VLAN, but one in. See, I'll show you it. You'll understand. J0 by 1. Okay. So let's say this side I will consider this side VLAN 10. Correct. And this side VLAN 11. This side you have VLAN 11. So what I'll do? This port I will add in VLAN 10. Right. This port I will add in VLAN 10. This port I will add in VLAN 11. Correct. Same thing I'll do here. VLAN 10.
Single port will not take 2 VLANs.
No, here we do not require single port multiple VLANs. Why? Because this complete network will belong to VLAN 11. This side completely belongs to VLAN 10 only. So they will have communication because they are in the same network. Correct. This is the concept. Now, when you go with the router on a stick method, second method is router on a stick. Okay, in this method, you will be using one router. With one router, you will have one switch. And then again 2 PCs. Connect here. Connect here. Now this is one single interface, right? This is only single interface. Okay, through this single interface, you will be breaking it down into 2 different interfaces. That is Z0/0.10. Okay, and Z0/0.11. Correct. And with these 2, you will be assigning the IP address, let's say 10.1.1.10. And the other side, you will be assigning 11.1.1.10. Okay. And you will be giving the encapsulation method, right? With the encapsulation method, you are going to say here that this belongs to VLAN 10. This belongs to VLAN 11. Now what? This particular interface, you will create it as a trunk. This one you will add in VLAN 10. And this one you will add in VLAN 11. And this is your router. Now, main thing is how you are going to create these sub interfaces. That is the part you have to understand. So if you want to create sub interfaces, okay. Create sub interfaces. Okay. Simply, you'll say interface name. Then, okay, let me do one thing. Let me just type it directly here, Z0/0, so that you will understand. Then give the no shutdown command. Then after interface Z0/0.10, then you'll give the encapsulation method, encapsulation .1Q, and then here you'll give the VLAN ID. Okay, whatever VLAN you have. Then you'll give the IP address. And what all the IP address you want to give, that you'll give. Subnet mask. Just that. This is it. So as many sub interfaces you want to create, that many .10, .11, whatever the sub interfaces you want to create, same way you have to. Okay. So this is your second method of inter-VLAN routing. That is your router on a stick. Okay. Now, in some scenarios, you will not be using a router, you will be using a switch. Okay. Means instead of using L2 switch, we will be using L3 switch. Is that clear? So the third method is L3 switch. So here you will have an L3 switch. The L3 switch looks like this. Okay. That's something like kind of star in between have it in the symbol. Okay. What you will exactly see is something like this. This is kind of symbol for L3 switch. Okay. So with this, you will connect PCs. So let's say if these interfaces are whatever the interfaces, you will just attach in the VLAN. Let's say according to our concept, this is, let's say, VLAN 10. This will be VLAN 11. Okay. Now, here you have to create something called as SVIs, switch virtual interfaces. Okay. In this concept, you will have to create SVIs because again, we are going to require gateway, right? So create switch virtual interfaces. In short, SVI. Okay. How you are going to create? Whatever VLAN you have created, same thing. Interface, VLAN, and your VLAN number. You will create VLAN, assign the ports to the VLAN. Then after you have to create VLANs. I mean VLAN interface. Then just assign the IP address. What all the IP addresses you want to assign? Means your gateway IP addresses. And then subnet mask. Once this is done, okay, means for both the VLANs, you will create VLAN interfaces, assign the IP addresses, okay, and then you have to enable routing. Okay, so if you remember to disable routing in your router, which command you give? No IP routing. So to enable routing, what we will give? IP routing. That's it. This is your layer 3 switch configuration. And with this, you will have communication with the different VLANs. Okay. Clear? Doing the practical?
Sir, by default, switch ports are in access mode. How can I assign IP address?
So is it F0 by 1, F0 by 2?
So directly assign the P.
VLAN interface I'm creating. And this is what? Virtual interface. What kind of switch it is?
Yeah.
Layer 3 means deals with the IP addresses also.
Yes.
Okay. This is clear. Now let's go to the lab. So what I'll do, instead of L2 switch, I'll be using a L3 switch. So let me delete all these things. This is how your layer 3 switch looks like. There are two switches, 3560, 3650. Okay. Okay, it is not having, so you have to connect the power cord here. If you want to go with this switch, or else you can go with this 3560 also, same thing. Okay. In this switch, by default, the power cord will be available. And in this one, you have to attach. But same thing is there. Let me show you. If I open it, CLI, you can see same like router because it is L3. No, but it is switch. So let me connect to the interfaces first. Z101. Okay, the interface name is the problem. No problem. So see, just remember the name of the interface Z101. Okay, enable configuration terminal interface Z1/0/1. Done. Switchboard access VLAN 10. Done. And Z102 will have switchboard access VLAN 20. Both VLANs created. Just interface VLAN 10. IP address 10.1.1.10 255.0.0.0. No shutdown. Since this is virtual interface, so already up, no need to give no shutdown. Then interface VLAN 11. Then we'll give the IP address 11.1.1.10. This is given. Now one more command, IP routing, and your inter VLAN routing is enabled. See here. Oh, okay. VLAN 10, 11.
11 unit, but above the layer content. In the switch.
No. These interfaces I didn't assign. Okay, I assigned in the VLAN also. Are those interfaces up? Let me check. Interfaces are up.
We have assigned the VLAN somewhere.
Which interface? There it is. Oh, here I assigned 20. Interface Z0/2 switchboard access VLAN 11. Now let's check. Okay, first of all, check whether all the interfaces are correct or not. Do show VLAN brief. This one is the VLAN 10 and VLAN. Okay, correct. Now go and print. Now our process will happen and then you will have the communication. See, this is your inter-VLAN routing with the 3 ways. Okay. Any doubt in this part? How to create SVIs? Just VLAN interface you have to create, assign the IP address, give the no IP routing command. Okay. Small configuration. Here, just shut down the, first of all, no shut down the interface, create 2 sub interfaces, and you're done. All you have to do, just this interface, create as a trunk and assign these in the VLANs.
Just be creating that interface is wrong. You can create in the here, if you want to create that port as a carry the both variants that
Access port, only one VLAN. Right. Access port will carry only one VLAN. So you have to create it as a trunk. Okay.